go, there we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Logistical Nightmares, team versus team, round 2, Imola, on the chat, on the stream. I see Mr. Alan Patterson, aka the Mike Man himself, M3 Supercharged, and then of course DMR Wolfie. Again, a few boys on stream already, looking and wanting to listen to this fabulous voice of mine. And looking at the cars at the present moment. So again, this week we've got a couple of new liveries out there. Looking at Sean Scudder in his car number 24 with a Red Bull PlayStation colors there. I have to say it looks mighty fine. I still have a couple of favorites around since last week, so I do wonder if the boys that came this evening have got a few more special ones that they can showcase. I have to admit, so we in the free practice session now. So boys are kind of warming up the tires, but simultaneously, I think we've located a couple of interesting developments. So as we host most of our races on simracing.gp, for some other weird reason, the individual drivers can now somehow select their driver number, which I wasn't honestly aware of. So it seems like for registration purposes on Simracing GP, drivers can now select their car number of what it will be for the race session, and then that will subsequently pull that information across into the server when it all starts up. And I actually think that's quite dandy. Now, this evening, everyone's car numbers are not the way they have set it to be, because it just went to a default manner and listed everyone from about 1 to 38. I do believe there was one individual by the likes of K. Patterson, who is a substitute driver this evening for Mr. Alan Patterson, and he somehow told me that he picked his number. Can't find the man on the entry list. I have to go and search for him. I do know he is there. Wherefore out my K. Patterson is what I'm going with now. No, I'll probably see him very soon. I know he's running on car number 64, so he is the odd one out this evening. Pre-practice still ongoing, boys warming up their tires, everyone jumping back to the pits. Oh, new name here, boy, and look at that, Corney Strauss, and he's car number 55, so he went and selected his car number. That is definite a good positive, and I'm loving the livery there. Whether that is a in-game one or a custom livery, does look out there. Like, so many words on the car that I really just want to go in and zoom and read it like a newspaper. Which I probably guess it is. Again, these boys are running team versus team classes. This is our Tuesday night TVT Championship, pros and AMs mixed. Again, these boys in pro and AM class are not racing one another. They are racing their respectable classes. However, they are signed up with a teammate. So, having said that, you'll have, just gotta go get this right, you'll have one teammate that is in the pro and the other teammate is in the AM class, and the joint point that they do make is what will end up with the championship. So bit of a mix up this season. We're trying to make it interesting every season. I do hope it does work out nicely, but what is the spanner in the wheel or in the works is that they are not allowed to fuel during the race. So these boys have got to set their race fuel from start to finish, no one's allowed to do any fuel. So if you've short fueled during a 60-minute race, you are out of luck. Otherwise, you got to manage your fuel. So that will be interesting. I heard the rumors last week there were 1 or 2 boys that didn't fuel properly and therefore had to do a bit of fuel saving. So that was quite eventful to see how that developed. A few individuals still in the pits. There was a straight on going off the mark there. Kel van der Berg also off the mark. A bit late for these boys. I guess they just want to let the front running crowd do what they want. There we go. I found the man, K. Patterson, car 64 in, I still want to call it a smackingly beautiful livery. Now, of course, there's a lot of them out there. Like, even that Honda there is beautiful. Kieran Patterson being very, very aggressive at the beginning, but then subsequently letting that Honda go. Again, these boys are going to make up their own time and pace when it comes to qualifying. Can't really do as you please, is what I say. I think this is going to be quite eventful this evening, to be fair. Duncan Hutchins on there. Hey, Duncan. Welcome in the mix. Alan's going to keep me center point here because Alan is a man on the mic and generally a fantastic commentator. If you haven't seen his streams that he has done for other communities, well, where have you been? That's kind of what I'm asking. So again, back to this 10 minutes of qualifying. Looking at P. Minor in his Merc, out of memory and regulation, I reckon this Merc is going to for sure put it on the top 10. It is just one of those monstrous cars at Imola that is, I would feel, very unbeatable. Now, I'm fairly sure some other individuals would beg to differ and would probably say it depends on whose hands the car is in with, but it's been a very rare occasion that I have not seen a Mercedes in the top 5 at Imola for a qualifying session. So B. Minor, in my humble opinion, is the man I'm going to keep a close eye out on this evening. I reckon he certainly have a chance to put it up there. Where do we see everyone else? I think B. Minor is the first runner at the moment, yeah? He's going to be the man that's going to put the first lap there. Hopefully he has no track cut avoidances and actually can put up a decent lap. Based on the delta, he's fairly up on his time at the moment. This looks like a low 1 minute 40. No, bit wrong. 1 minute 41 there. I need to get my technical my clever man up here, because I know for some other weird reason I can put the deltas on. Just gotta figure out where. Someone once told me how to do it, but now I don't even know how to do it anymore. Alright, let's go look at everyone else. Kieran Patterson on the mark there too. He currently 141.9, so again low 40, well just below the 42s. Skitter is about a second off that pace. Again, most of the boys at the back of Kieran Patterson is in the 43s and upwards. I am suspecting that they are still warming up their tires. They've got a lot of work to do. Kieran Patterson has certainly slowed down a bit, and I think he's done that strategically because he still needs to make up a bit of time between him. Corne Strauss back in the pits. Paul Venter in his Bentley, currently running car number 4, and I know that's not his car number. But again, he's up on his delta at this present stage by half a second. That is going to put him up in the 42s, but still 42 high. B. Minor is still the man to beat. Like I said, Merckx is just so dominant here. There we go. Paul Venter, bring it in. 42.9s is where it's at. Sean Stradom with his Honda is Logistical Nightmare livery there in 4th at the moment, also in the 42s. So boys are starting to get their groove on now. Another Honda there with a 42 something. Let's go back. I need to back this Honda. So here's Jacques Vermeulen, currently in 14th position. Fastest AM car at the moment, Corne Strauss. Now I know Corne Strauss did not race last weekend, so he's got a whole race to try and make up where it is. I think the man that took the checkered flag last weekend, oh, I gotta go and found him. Everyone's race numbers are so all over the place, it's hard to actually figure out who's who in the zoo. Do not see him, but I will try and find him. Lee Bouillonier, AM class in his Beefaroni Porsche there. Still getting the groove on. So currently a big dominance by the Pro guys. There we go, one of my favorite liveries again. I have too many favorite liveries. I don't know how people do that. It's hard for me to pick it. Every time I pick on a car and I look at it, I just go, oh, it's so gorgeous. Like, seriously, the amount of talent everyone has just doing liveries on ACC is exponential. Like, there's just something that has a magnificent touch. The Vancel boy is awesome. I'm gonna go find a team name. Let's just go look at the teams again. So from a team point of view, we have these boys racing, and again, we've talked about it. One driver is in AM class, one driver is in the Pro class. Of course, we've got all representations everywhere. PWSR boys, the team VYP Italian team. Then we've got LNR boys, Porkers Punting, Blitzen Beetles. We'll race for food boys. Whoosh. I have to admit, there's a couple of weird names out there everywhere. But nonetheless, this is the teams. Those are the drivers. This is round 2. Team versus team on Imola. Oh, as Vancel makes a big mistake there. Holzhausen back in the mix there. That is an epic lap there by Holzhausen, bringing it less. He's quicker than his teammate, B. Holzhausen and Vancel. That's got to be a bit of a letdown if your teammate in the AM class out-qualifies your pro mate class. Vancel's got a bit of work. He has got a hungry Holzhausen there right behind him. Kelvin Berg in the mix with the Merc. Now he's doing very well. Nearly on the heels of Holzhausen. Probably off by about 1.1, about a hundredth of a second, a tenth of a second. Still very close. Kieran Patterson on the other hand is the man on the move. BMW in the mix, outsmart, outraces, and it seems to be out-qualifying the Merc. So Kieran Patterson's definitely up there. S. Lorero, I'm not 100% sure who that is. He's in the pits in 3rd place, Strijdom in 4th, Schutter in 5th, Drake is in 6th. So we got Hunter, Paul Venter, and then Robin van der Merwe. So Pro Boys top 10 kind of looks very dominant this evening. And then we got a mixture of AM. There's 3 of them at this moment: Holzhausen, Van der Berg, and then of course Neville in his Porsche. Oh, and I love that two-tone black to white to grey scenario there. Such a beautiful color. Corne Strauss, he's got a couple of, now Billion in 14th place in the Porsche. Boys only got 2 minutes, so those on a hot lap at the present moment are the guys that can do the last minute. And this is how busy the track is. I just got to represent it. It's going to be hard for me to commentate with 38 boys on track. This is where I need like 50 eyes at the same time, telling me who's who in the zoo, where they are, what they're doing, and whatnot. But you can see the track is very, very busy. Couple of boys has ventured into the pits already. Robson in the Honda. Now he is teammate of Sean Stradom. So again, you can look at who the teammates are based on what colors and liveries they run, which makes my life a little bit easier. Yet I'm still not there remembering all the team names because it's quite a handful. Boys on the stream is shouting and vouching for Ian Patterson there. Again, big following on that end. Montagani in the pits. Pluton, everyone in the pits. So the back boys in the back is in the pits. Maber in the BMW in 25th position. Drop down one spot. He is the final man to cross the line before we're going to kick over to the race conditions. There it is. That's your grid. Gotta do some magic. Let's look at the timetables. There we go. Oh, jeez. Do you have to do that? Alright, so it's not loving me today, and I don't know why. Let's see if I can do this. Today is definitely not that day. Okay. Alright, so let's just talk about where these boys are. This is race condition. 60 minutes of racing. Track seems quite hot, so I'm fairly certain that they are very happy to have a tire change scenario, because those tires are surely going to degrade in the short time of period. From a qualifying standpoint, this is where we sit. Top 3 boys in the low 42s, very close from that standpoint. We've got Kieran Patterson, Minnar, and then Stradom, followed by gents in the 42s, and again that's from 4th all the way down here till 18th in a 1 second delta between each other. So this is phenomenally tight, and we've got a few AM boys in the mix as well. So Holtzhausen is there. He's got 3 pro boys right behind him. I guess if it was him, he would love to have those boys sit there while he continues to venture off. Then Dupree in second, and then Kel van der Berg in third in car 39 here. So these are the top 3 AM boys, and those are the top pro boys. And then we still go down the list here all the way at the back, where we have individuals in the 43s, 44s, and 46s. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's just do the drive thing. Broadcasting, DCam. There we go. Now it's better. Now I can work some magic. Ish. ACC just doesn't like me today. Alright. Warm up lap, out lap, very sunny. No expected rain. There is certainly no wind. And I reckon this is actually going to get very interesting. I am sort of concerned and slightly cautious. On what is potentially going to happen in the first couple of laps. Okay, so everything is working at my end. Everything looks good and well. I haven't been in contact with the race conditions. Pretty sure MFD again full time. Okay, so let's look at that. Yes, that works. Costing. I'm filtering some. Making sure all my things work. Oof. Feel out of touch and out of play this evening. It's gotta be the wine that I'm drinking at the moment. Less wine on broadcasting night, more, I would say beer. Probably beer. Beer is the right thing to do. Okay. Final sector for these boys. Back to front in the grid. Kieran Patterson sits way ahead of everyone else. Imola way behind there, so he's got a bit of time to make up. Pack is so widely spread. We've seen Kieran Patterson going down the second final corner, and then we still got a bunch of cars here at the back that still needs to feed their way through the S's. Coming down the second last sort of straight curvy end. Again, everyone trying to come back into it. Yeah, there's one cloud going a bit off track there. Managed to recover it, back on it again. Okay, now gonna go front of the grid. Look at that backer, boys. I have to admit this, gentlemen, I am nervous as hell. 39 cars on the grid, ready for a 1 hour race, mandatory tire change, no fuel needed. Kieran Patterson leading the pack in the BMWs. Waiting for the green light in, I would say, and this
green light. Go.
Green, let's go. It's race time. Porsche's out of the block as always. Hits it hard and center. BMW takes the line, keeps it on the inside. Minard on the left, holds off a bit. That's straight on there, being very, very cautiously. Wanted to be aggressive. I see a couple of boys off the track. There we stand. Oh, incidents, accidents. That was detrimental. Sean Skitter involved there. Big mess, big fuss. And I'm not 100% sure what is good, but that Honda, I can assure you, is very, very damaged. All I heard was shh. Okay, so as my telemetries and all that picks up, front end boys have managed to get away. Kieran Patterson certainly off the mark with about a second of a gap between him. Of course, Stradom and Minard battling it out there for second and third place. Then of course we've got Drake and Laredo. Ooh, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm probably ruining Laredo's name in the BMW, and I humbly apologize. I'm gonna call him Car 17 unless anyone else can tell me how to pronounce his name. I reckon I have just ruined a man's family surname drastically. Okay, front boys as suspected. I reckon the top 5 will probably run away, which is similar to what has occurred last week. Robin van der Merwe is in the mix as well. He didn't have a great race last week, and he is certainly back in the mix this weekend. That seems to be the Robin van der Merwe that I know. He is chasing down Mr. BKB in the Porsche, who had a phenomenal start of the season. I do recall, I think KB finished in second or third place on round 1 at Hungaroring, but he is now under severe pressure by Robin van der Merwe in the Aston Martin. And of course we've got Peter Prier in car number 26. He is the AM class leader, and I don't know how he managed to get there. I can't recall that he was the front runner, was he? AM classes have certainly changed, and I reckon that's where the accidents and incidents occurred. Plenty of them on the board and on the table. Our stewarding team is heavily on the mix, and they are going to dish out penalties like it's no tomorrow. I do feel sorry for them. So if I can look at it, just from the first couple of laps, we already have 10 incidents recorded. So the boys were slightly naughty at the start of the race. There is B. Holzhausen. He is the second in his class. Now, of course, he's got his teammate in pro there, F. Van Sail, right ahead of him. And I reckon he's going to try and maintain that gap so that he can hold off or fend off Jacques Vermeulen there, because if Jacques Vermeulen can get past the AM class guy, he's going to challenge F. Van Sail for position. Again, these boys race in their own respective classes. It's up to their discretion whether they want to allow a pro guy to pass or not. There is Kitty coming out of the pits now, and he has had to have a massive fix. He's a whole lap down, so he's going to be surrounded by plenty of blue flag. Stop go, 30-second penalty there by Robson. That is just daunting. Not even 100% sure how that occurred. But that doesn't look like it's a penalty given, so I don't know where that occurred. Robinson probably entering into the pit, so Robson has gone in the pits. He is at the back of the pack, not having the race he wanted. Ooh, as he makes a big fuss out of that. Ooh, coming back on track. That is very dangerously close. Robson potentially as angry as he can be. Just go see how the front could do. Kieran Patterson has increased his lead by about 2 seconds between the individuals, him and Minard. And then of course another 2-second gap between him and Stradom. Drake on the other hand, he has got Loureiro behind him, followed by KB, followed by Van der Merwe. I'm gonna go look for all the action. I reckon big action at the stages. These boys there. This is still close back running. Van Sail Vermeulen has managed to pass Holzhausen. But then again, something must have occurred, because Duprier is now behind his teammate. So a bit of a teammate swap here. The pro teammate is now ahead of the AM teammate. So Van Sail is teammate of Holzhausen, and then I reckon Vermeulen and Duprier are running in the same class, considering their beautiful Durex livery. I have to admit, if they did manage to swap each other around, move it from left to right or center, then that is fundamentally good respect for the individual drivers, letting it be known that it's class by class racing. Neville there in the Porsche. He is sandwiched between a Honda and a Merc. That's one of the Beefaroni boys off track there, just on the right hand of my corner of the screen. Not 100% sure which one of the Beefaroni that is. I somehow suspect that's Nel Bullion. Yes, Nel Bullion has got it wrong somewhere, went completely off track, and is now stuck there in the mix with Cal van der Berg right ahead of him. So big battles here at the back of the pack. Wilson is there. Barrington Smith is also there in 21st position. Two of the pro boys far behind where they should be, which is quite interesting. They will continue to battle it out. Gerard Jansen van Vieren in his McLaren. He is chasing down. Who is he chasing down? Strauss. Courtney Strauss in AM class. Strauss has moved all the way backwards to 29th position. I'm really trying to cover everywhere where I can. This is a mad race. Like, again, look at the map. Look at how this looks like. It is absolutely astounding. How is the commentator supposed to manage all this in one time? And this is where the holdup is. Holzhausen, not really. It's not actually an hold-up. It sort of still starts here by KB in 9. So from about 10th position, it's perpendicularly a train of cars following each other. And these boys are going to try and fight it for victory. Which I really think is going to be very, very hard. We all know Imola is a beautiful track, a track that loves no one, including myself, because I honestly like the track. It's such a nice, strange, flowing track that you need so much finesse to get it right, and it can punish you instantaneously without any notice. As we have Fansel, Jacques Vermeulen coming down the straight, does that Honda have enough legs to take the BMW? Does not look like it. Now we all know that Honda has got some good straight line speed, but I reckon that BMW can hold that Honda ahead of it. As KB, Paul Fenter, not 100% sure what has happened there, but that is Robin van der Merwe going backwards a bit. Whether he had a bit of a coming together with KB. Ooh, there we go. No, not really. KB, on the other hand, is now hunting down Paul Fenter in his car number 4, who looks to be wanting to sit comfortably in 7th place, but he knows that there is a Porsche right behind him, and currently fastest lap on track, 141.777, and that is Kay Patterson in car 64. So the leader of the race with clear air is putting it down and back to where all the action is. Oh, this is really, really getting interesting. Robin van der Merwe now battling it again. He was fighting with KB. Now he is all over the back of Van Zyl, who has probably made a slight error, because somehow Vermeulen has managed to pass him. How I missed that, I don't know. But again, it's so hard to keep track. Just look at the trail there. It's daunting. It's daunting. This is cars. There we go. Skitty there in the mix. I can see Skitty, but he's got a lot of work to do on his end though. Incidents still ongoing. 15 recorded at the present stage. Our race directing team is certainly noting it down. Penalties will come out, and they will come out screaming. Let's just go back on chat. Who is on chat? Whatever button I have for Brits, that's timing delta. Peter Heidemann going, nice to see a BMW, a Honda, and a Merc in the top 3. Yeah, that's quite a bit of a mix. Alan Patterson trying to give me some tips. I think it's a shortcut on my keyboard, but I can't remember what it is. My MFT button is not working because my wheel is kind of off at the moment. I need to learn that. Someone gave me the tip and trick last week to showcase Delta, and I just, for the life of me, cannot find that message. Someone wants me on a call. Let me leave you boys for a moment. back in the mix. Let me just make sure. Yes, I am. Had to go do some administrative help there. Oh my goodness. Dino is on here as well. Hey, Dino. Carnage T1. Ace. Yeah, met big Ace. A couple of guys went awfully wrong. Expecting to get penalized very soon as they get dished out. Sea Hunter, first man on the mix, getting a penalty. 15 seconds there for him. Now that is potentially a collision that he caused. And if I go back, car number 19. Ooh, can't even read who that was. But it is coming out frank and well. Jay Neville also getting a penalty there at his end. There is Mr. Neville in the AM class Porsche, 15-second penalty for him. Potentially causing a collision. I'm still hoping to see more of them coming out, because again there's lots of them to work from. Big battle here still between Robin van der Merwe and F. Van Zyl. Oh, Robin goes on the inside. Van Zyl was hesitant there to cover for it. It does look like his normal racing line. Did go a bit wide into that corner. If I was a betting man, I would be hitting my steering wheel at this moment, because it was a close call for an incident, but they managed to still remain clear from each other. Mawa, who had a phenomenal race last week, from recollection, in his Pace Motorsport car, he had big battles with Alan Patterson, who's not racing tonight, fighting for position, and that was quite an enduring race to watch. For those that haven't gone out and watched it, do go to our live stream channel or our channel and go watch it again. It was just epic from each angle, and I think if you have more time, you can probably go to KLM Pace or Pace Motorsports Twitch channel and go look at his live view stream, because he would have streamed it from his end as well. Beddington Smith in 17th with the Porsche. Ooh, a couple of bad dents there on that Porsche. Doesn't look very happy, but he's currently trying to chase down Neil Bullion. This is a bit of a Porsche on Porsche action. Have to admit, it doesn't look like the Porsche is very well suited here for the track, because they are not performing as well as the other car. I mean, we've got KB here, who is the lead running Porsche at the moment. He is currently in 8th position, but he has dropped down the mark quite a bit, because he now has Paul Venter, who is ahead of him, Hunter, Laredo, Drake, Stradom, Minor and Patterson. So he's got a bit of a work to do. Imola might not be Porsche friendly. I reckon someone on the stream can probably tell me whether the Porsche is actually quite good at Imola. I would truly believe it's a handful, because there's too many fast corners here, and it is good in the left and right and turning, but phenomenally great at corner entry and exit, which I don't think it suits the Porsche. I do think they're going to dominate next week. So next week we had Oldham Park, a far smaller track with a 40 car grid. Oh, I am honestly worried about that from every angle. Doesn't matter where it is. So Dino checking out all the people who will be destroying him. I hope you mean it in the sense of racing and not what I normally would expect destroying people means. But yeah, I do have to admit, I am a fond fan of the console community from a sim racing standpoint. There are plenty of what they would call the aliens out there, but I think the realm of the PC world is just exponential. These boys are quick, they are fast, they are on fire. We are currently still leading M-Class car, and he still has Holzhausen there right behind him. And then of course, we have Mayberg in his beautiful orange livery there. It's car that stands out completely. Nope. Yeah. But the grid is big. The grid is vast. See if I can find a bit of action at the back. Dave Young in the pits. That is a bit too soon for a pit stop though. Not so sure what has happened there. Jay Neville on the other hand, he has got a couple of cars on his tail. I reckon one of those is Skitty, who is trying to unlap himself. Let me just make 100% sure. Yeah, that is Sean Skitty, who was in the massive catastrophic accident in the beginning of the race, trying to make up for time, so he's got to get past these boys before he can make wind. He is doing good times on track at the moment, so Skitter currently on lap times is in the 45s, 44s. Again, Neville doesn't need to let him pass. Ooh, what has happened there? Skitter, left, right, middle and center, back into the boards again. Not having the best of races this weekend. Last week was a great showing from him. This week, however, is a completely different story. This is where I call utter bad luck. He is going to try and coast that car back to the pit lane again. Working his way through. Right, back action. Robin van der Merwe versus Kaylen Mawa versus Van Sale. Now Robin has managed to pass Kaylen, or is it Kaylen that has managed to catch up with Robin? Kaylen seems to have catched up with Robin, who is right on the rear end of Jacques Vermeulen. So this is a bit of a Honda, Aston, BMW fight in the mix. And I have to sort of admit that there's not a lot of BMW drivers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven BMWs on this massive grid. Great to see a mix of cars out there. Interesting to see the various mix. As Robin goes on the outside. Ooh, tag, tag, tag. Those two boys do make contact. Sneaky pass move there by Robin. He should probably get that position back, because I don't necessarily call that a pass. Didn't have the corner. I was Jacques, I would flash my headlights like a madman. Now we've got Kaylen right behind Jacques. And these boys shouldn't have any ping issues, but even though I think they are very well known with each other on racing standards, they are certainly battling it hard here. This is close, if I've ever seen close. Jacques going defensive, not wanting to let Mawa pass. Robin trying to get away from that, and that is going to allow him to get away if those two boys at the back are starting to fight it off. Oh, big mistake there by Vermeulen. Climbed the curbs a bit, and Mawa takes advantage of that. Jacques falling back, and just more back. That is detrimental to his race. He is now ahead of the Audi. Now I've got to figure out who that is, because he has dropped quite a bit of spots there. One tiny mistake through the S's, went too hard onto the curbs, and then subsequently got penalized for that. Detrimental from him. Mawa and Robin now continuing their fight. In between them, sort of muscled their way through Jacques Vermeulen. Bit of elbows out, left, right, and center is what I call it. And the poor man has lost plenty positions. I reckon he's now way behind his teammate. There is Dupree for inappropriate racing is what they call themselves. Yeah, Chuck definitely lost a lot. He is slightly ahead of hard to see there in the Audi. Question is, this is not the only Audi, no? No, there is the other Audi for mixed emotions. I do love this color scheme now. This is such an army feel color scheme that we have there with the South African flag on either end of them. Very nicely done. Love it. Pit window has opened up, so now it's a question of who is going to dive in the pits. Let's just see where we are. Back to the front leader. This has been a interesting delta between the boys from first, second to third. Kieran Patterson still fending off the boys behind him. Minard doesn't seem to have an answer for that quick BMW at the moment. Like someone's got to put a bit of magic, or in some circumstances a bit of oil on the track, make it a bit more exciting here and there. Penalty still being worked through. Top 3 still continuing on. Doesn't look like anyone's gonna budge into the pits. Who is in the pits? Only the back markers at the moment. Plenty of boys coming into filling the pit marker a bit before the halfway mark, but there is so many of them. You can see them all just dived it in. Gary van der Harde in the Bentley. Di Ferreira in the Porsche. Robson he's making his way past and hasn't gone into the pits at the moment. Top 10 boys not yet pitted. Paul Venter on the other hand, he's in a bit of a squabble at the moment with KB. KB seems to have found a bit of pace between him and Paul. So Paul has got a bit of pressure on his hands. Let's just see where we are from a timing point. Last lap, a 45.4 from Venter, whereas KB did a 43. So slight error there by Paul Venter as he gets a shocker of a shock with guys exiting the pit. That unsettles him deeply. KB all over the back of him now. Don't know what happened there, but that really unsettled Paul Venter into the first couple of turns. He's lost so much momentum, therefore placed KB right behind him. I reckon that is... Oh, where is my man? Ryan Bennington-Smith, yes. Ryan Bennington-Smith came out right behind Clow, teammate of PWSR. Now doing very well, but he's still got a bit of work to do. I think he went into the pits as well, so Clow ahead of Berries. Again, these two boys are in different classes, so no real battle needed. I don't think Cloud's going to make it any easy for Berries. Ooh, as he goes deep into the S's. I reckon that was a bit unplanned or planned. Whether he wanted to let the Porsche go or whether he just outbraked himself. Gary van der Haar there with a stop go, 30-second penalties. That is certainly for exceeding pit lane speed. Closest battle at the moment is Venter versus Porsche. This still continues. Don't know if that Porsche has got straight line speed. Bentley looks back and settled again. Now close to one another. Top 5 boys not yet pitted. Priya and Bullion there fighting it out. That is Priya there. I reckon that can't be Drake in the Mercedes there. I believe that is Dave Young. No, that's Dave Young. See Drake in the mix there. This is one of the leading fourth car at the moment. He is sandwiched in between the guys at the back. Now if that's the case, then I would see plenty of blue flags being waved everywhere else. Yes, blue flags are being waved there. Drake is going to make the move. There we go, that's open space. He does unlap himself, but that seems like Nell Bullion also managed to get past there. Both these boys capitalized on a slow exiting Honda, who is now back in the mix, fighting with Van Zyl. This is inappropriate racing versus Team Luxury Time Racing. And these are two different teams battling it out. Now this is very, very interesting. AM Pro classes here in the mix. Team Luxury Racing versus Inappropriate AM Class Racing. Battling it out, AM classes and Pro classes simultaneously. So the two BMWs versus the two Hondas. What a mix of this evening. You can't even rewrite the books of it if you have to. I've expected team versus team racing, but this is exactly what I had in my head. Like the boys are just battling out, Pro Class letting it go. And he's letting his teammate go, but they're not gonna let that Honda go. He wants to get that Honda behind him. He's gonna have a terrible exit speed there, Van Zyl. He reckons his teammate is far quicker than him. Van Zyl really struggling, but lets his teammate go. Now that's quite interesting there. These two boys really battling it out. This is a Van Zyl versus Vermeulen. Pros taking on pros, AM taking on AM. Driving style etiquette phenomenon. Van Zyl not going defensive, opens the door for Vermeulen, but Vermeulen hesitant to take the move. Doesn't feel like he's close to it. Certainly have a battle here. Penalties being dished out everywhere, or people getting penalties. Stop go here and there. Mayberg stop go penalty as well. Sharks diving into the corner. That was very daring. Mayberg, I reckon that is Mayberg. Is that Mayberg or Holzhausen? No? That is Mayberg. Also confusing. How did Mayberg now allow these boys to pass him? Ooh, Mayberg sitting with a stop-go 30-second penalty, so I don't think he felt like he had the need to fight for it there. Still big battles between these boys. This is about the closest race we have here on track. Other than a Lambo versus a McLaren, this is Johannes van der Merwe in car 29, 25th position, battling it out with, well, not really actually, with Gerard Johnson van Vieren, again not for position. Corne Strauss there in his Porsche in 27th. He has subsequently fallen backwards. Drive-through penalties being dished out everywhere. To Priya, drive-through. Skitty, drive-through. The teenage sandbags is what they call themselves. Okay, where's that battle? Where's that battle? This is the Vancel Vermeulen. Again, just look at that. BMW overpowering the Hondas. Team Luxury Time Racing, TLTR. Giving stick. And Vancel. Bria. Heavy in the pits, okay. Kieran Patterson has done his pit stop, I believe. Yeah, the man has gone into the pits out on lap. He's in third, so he'll potentially take that fourth place for sure. See Hunter gone into the pits. Laredo is still out there. Drake in 6, aka potentially P4. Again, he's fairly comfortable where he sits at. I'm curious to see where KB has filtered out though. I don't see him. KB's still in the pits, Mawa in the pits. Neville and Fanamarwa battling it out. That's Neville. And then of course Strauss in the background. Some good battles even at the back of the pack, and it's actually, I think it's kind of nice to see. Like, even though there's a big grid here, to me it looks like, from what I viewed in my perspective, again, I would probably be told otherwise, a very good, clean, respectful racing between all these drivers. Different types of classes, again predominantly mostly South African sim races, as Corne Strauss goes on the outside, gets a better exit than the Lambo. Is he going to take it in by this corner? Yes he is. Lambo yields a bit, tucks in behind him. Can Johannes van der Merwe come back? No, messes it up with his exit there, so bit of a loss from his end. Corne, the winner out of the two, makes up another position. Let's just go look. Top three boys still looking strong. Minnaar, on the other hand, has now set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:41.417. Now that is not far off to the fastest lap that Kieran Patterson set. Kieran went with a 1:41.677. So Minnaar certainly feeling the punch here at the second half of the stint. Drake is in. Where is Marwa? Is out. KB still in the pits. What has happened to KB? KB is dropping down positions very badly. He has now lost 22 seconds of pit time. I do wonder whether something has failed on his end, but that is not a race he would have wanted. Going all the way downwards. Really don't know what has happened. If anyone on the stream knows what's happened to poor KB, do let me know. Alan keeping me wind. I don't know when you send that, Alan. Cloud climbing the ladder. Let's go look at where Cloud is. There he is. Yes, he is. He is moving upwards. Just go check it out. So far, he's done phenomenally well. There's two individuals that stand out that has done quite a bit from a position gaining point of view. Clow is one of them. He's gained 10 positions, as opposed to Anthony Wilson, who's also up there in his Aston Martin. He has gained 10 positions from the race starting point of view. And I think today the biggest winner of them all is Gerard Janssen van Vieren, who has managed to crawl back 17 positions from starting point. Now that's a phenomenal task in itself. Like, in all fairness, 17 positions from 21 means potentially that you qualified at 38th position, like second to last. Big race for him. Trying to crawl it back for his Lambrol racing team as best as he could. Corner Strauss suffering the consequences over there. Stop go, 30-second penalty. Ooh. KB disqualified. How did that happen? Something is awfully strange at the moment. One individual disqualified, one individual stop go, 30-second penalty. Fastest man back on track again is Kieran Patterson. Like they're swapping numbers between him and Minor at the moment. Like who's who in the zoo at the present stage? Probably missed the pit window. That is valid. That could be very valid. Alan on the mark, on point there. Missed the pit stop window. Is that what it is? Suspicions do make me wonder. Van Salem from Miele, these boys are still fighting it out. Unbelievable how this still continues. And it still prevails. Honda versus BMW. Duplessis in the Audi. One of the leading Audis at this moment, currently in 14th position, doing phenomenally well. As it stands at the moment, Duplessis is up for a potential podium. He does have to make his way through Anthony Wilson there, who's currently in second place, driving for LNR TVT A Wilson. So there is a couple of small battles on track at the moment. Everyone else seems to be fairly settled in, I would call their stride. 18 minutes of racing to go again. Like I said, no rain predicted. Track temperatures is coming down a bit to where it was at the beginning. But realistically has not really changed that much. Got a bit of AM boys here fighting for the second or podium positions. Anthony Wilson looks like he wants to pull away. Lucy on the other hand is not going to allow him to do so. Then of course Anthony Wilson's brother, Ashley Wilson, part of Team Lambrol Racing with his McLaren in 17th, and he is currently far ahead of his teammate Gerard Janssen van Vieren. He's chasing down Ryan Beddington Smith at the moment, who is in a pro class, again not for class or position. He is keeping up with a man that we generally know is phenomenally quick. Again, I don't believe the Porsche cars is that great on track this evening. Top 10 boys, see Hunter there in the BMW also driving for Team Luxury Time Racing. This is going to be a good result for this man. Loving the team liveries. He is, however, being hunted down by Nel Bullion. Now, Bullion, on the other hand, didn't have the greatest of starts, but have managed to crawl back about 9 positions from the starting grid. Qualified in 18th. Has done his pit stop. So this is fighting for position in class. If I do a cross comparison between these two boys, their last lap at the moment is fairly close to one another. They are running low 43s at this stage, probably filtering through a bit of traffic at the moment. Top 3 boys still looks fine and dandy. Minnar and Kieran Patterson trying to battle it out to get the best lap out of them too. And again, those two boys are literally running in the 41s, 42s. Like, this is unbelievable. Like, Minnar's best lap was a 41.4. Minnar's last lap was a 41.7. So he is literally trying to close the gap between himself and Kieran Patterson. Gap at the moment is only about 2.3 in delta, so not that much though. Gonna get very, very interesting in the last remaining dying minutes of the race. Gonna keep an eye out on that. Now these boys are filtering through lots of traffic though, so this could be a disadvantage to Kieran at the moment. Potentially because Minnar is managing to get his way through traffic far quicker than Patterson. Again, a very, very slow lap there for Patterson versus Minnar. So I think it's all about that traffic management that is coming into play here, which potentially frustrate Alan at the calling him Alan, Kieran at this stage. Substitute driver for Alan Patterson. And it's all about traffic management. This is where it counts. This is how you do it. Still such a busy grid. Like, it's unbelievable how busy it is. I'm going to keep an eye on these boys to see how they venture through. As the battle continues here between now and then, of course, Sea Hunter. Dupriya. Ooh, excuse me. Dupriya, currently the AM speed demon between him and his teammate. Now his teammate hasn't had the best of races thus far. He was a bit muscled in between a few gentlemen, going through corners, losing a bit of positions. But he is trying to battle his way back. Van Zyl, on the other hand, is going to make up more positions. He has managed to create a gap between himself and Jacques Vermeulen. Of course, this is where strategy can come into play. I mean, I was a teammate, I might just be a bit more difficult into letting you pass. I'm not saying it's great driving etiquette, I'm just going by. That is what my mind will be telling me at the moment. How do I drive so that it can be an advantage to my teammate behind him? This is kind of the thought process that I would work upon. And of course, Holzhausen here. Seems like every time I pick on the car, it's always Team Luxury Time Racing. They must be my fan favorite this week. Fan favorite, pick of the drivers, pick of the week. The team I picked on the most or selected the most during racing conditions seems to be these boys. Ventus Biss made his way through. Now that is... Ooh. That was a close call. That was definitely Wilson and Beddington. These two boys are matching each other's time, lap by lap. Don't know how they do it though, but A. Wilson from Lambro Racing is on a roll this evening. He is certainly giving it his all. I mean, in all fairness, to be a man to stick on to Beddington Smith must be that you are driving one hell of a race this evening. I think I'm going to give it to him. You know, like that is just a drive and a half. I do hope it's the car, or I do hope he likes it. Otherwise, he is generally not really an hashtag. Putting it out there. Van Zyl has managed to pass to Priya though. So this is where sportsmanship behavior comes in. Again, I am the bad boy in the mix here. I do make it quite interesting. Clau on the other hand in 22nd. And he's all over the back of Gerard Jansen van Vieren. Car 33. In all fairness, boys are very in close contention with us. This is sort of where the battle sits in between all the mixes here. So we've got Hardacre in car in position 19 with his Audi right there ahead of Neville. We then have Karajans van Viering in car 33 and then Clau there. So Clau can get past Van Vieren or get close to Neville. He could potentially gain one more position. Very busy at the moment. There's plenty of things going on at this stage. And back to A. Wilson and Holzhausen. These two boys are fighting it out for the podium's position spot. McLaren versus BMW. Battle is very close between them. I didn't realize it was that close, to be fair. Oh, I'll apologize. It's not a podium for the AM class. It is 4th place in the AM class because we do have Dupriya in car 26, currently in 11. That is 1st place for AM. Then we have A. Wilson in car 11 in 13. That is 2nd place at the moment. Then of course R. Duplessis in car 36 with the Audi in 3rd. So that's where the podium sits for the AM classes. For the race leaders, yet they are still swapping lap times between them, being very stable since they have filtered through all, I would say, traffic. And let's just go have a look and just see where the traffic stands based on where we sit at the moment. So no real traffic there for Kieran Patterson. Got a back marker behind him, which is sandwiched between 1st and 2nd. Other than that, it looks all dauntingly open road from there on in. So he is managing to maintain that gap between himself. Good to see, again, someone mentioned it before, a mix of different class cars in the front grid. And I do love it. Merc seems to be strong. I said it once, I'll say it again. There's something about the Mercedes and Imola that just makes them so good. See who I haven't really talked about this evening. Skitter, who had an awful start of the race. I reckon he was the car that was turned around at the first corner incident. got into massive accidents when it started off, so not the best of drives for Skitter. And do love it when people continue to race. Back on the mix, last 5 minutes of the race in itself. Went a bit quiet there because I needed to just have a bit of a break for my voice. Feel a bit off the weather this evening. Trying to recover from a cold, I believe. So I'm not even sure whether it is a cold or not a cold. Again, still battles ongoing. Everywhere I look, AM class boys are settling it in nicely everywhere. Van der Merwe and Paul Venter is the top 2 of the top 10 boys battling it out at the present stage. Let's just see if I can see something familiar that can tell me who is the quicker driver between the two, because I somehow suspect that Robin van der Merwe has made up quite a bit of time on Paul Venter in the dying moments of the race. Timing wise, I really don't see anything that tells me that. Sort of on par with one another, so they potentially just slowly gained up on each other. Robin van der Merwe does look like the aggressor at the moment, trying to find means and ways to getting past Venter there. Kieran Patterson, however, has created a bigger gap between himself. Sean Stradom in third position has not really had any battles since the start of the race. Him and Drake and Lorero has been on their own for quite some time. Paul Venter, a bit of battles here and there. And this is currently ongoing. Is Robin van der Merwe got enough speed and pace to actually take him down the straight? Does Paul go defensive? No. Robin looks on the inside, looks again, dabs it again, but moves away. Again, Robin van der Merwe does sit with a 5-second penalty, which is not really going to count in his favor if he does manage to pass Paul Venter. Because if and when he does, he will then need to create a 5-second gap. Now, where it stands between himself and C. Hunter, on the other hand, is actually quite interesting, because the gap between these two boys is currently sitting just above the 6-second mark, sorry. So I'm fairly confident that Robin van der Merwe needs to push, because if that delta comes down, he will lose a position to Hunter. Based on the last lap itself, Hunter was 7/10 quicker than him. Gonna keep an eye on that. That is something to take note. Hunter has got clear track ahead of him. Robin, on the other hand, has got a bit of traffic ahead of him. There's Kalen Mawa behind Hunter. And again, he's racing in 26th position from Pace Motorsport BM. Doesn't look like he really enjoyed this race this evening. Might not have gone his way. Holtzhausen and Wilson still continuing their battle. Hardacre is there. Lau is in close proximity though. Getting closer and closer and closer to Neville. Not close enough though. Wilson in the pits. Now that is very strange. Wilson in the pits. That opens the door for Holtzhausen to take that position openly. And that's an easy take. Why is Wilson in the pits? Is that a short fuel? He certainly can't fuel again, so that is some interesting developments there. Leader on the final lap. This is Kieran Patterson, a man I haven't really showcased the whole race. Currently the fastest man on track with a 141.367. That is phenomenally quick. And P. Minar in 32, not far off that fastest lap though, like 1/10 difference between the two of them. Somehow Patterson just managed to creep away from it. Must say he looks very, very comfortable in that BMW of Alan Patterson though. Don't know how these boys managed to swap cars a week before. Got it to Imola, got him all set up, but he has been phenomenal at the start till the finish, clean all the way through, dominating it from the word go. This is gonna get interesting because Stradom was the dominator last week and he's currently in third place. This is Kieran Patterson coming over to cross the line, taking the checkered flag for victory for PWSR. Wonderful race there. Big point scoring scenario. P. Minar in his Mercedes car coming through, and of course a bit of a wait there for Stradom. Really fought hard to get that Honda in the mix there. Lovely, like I think, to see 3 different class type cars in the top 3. Honda probably not good with this track, but Stradom did a phenomenal drive there by him. That is the top 3 boys. Podium, podium, podium. See Drake there in 4th. Great drive by him in the Mercedes. Then we have Laredo for Team Luxury Time Racing. He is then followed down between Paul Venter and Robin van der Merwe. Again, Robin van der Merwe's got a 5-second penalty. Ooh, there's a penalty there. 130-second penalty there for Laredo. No clue what that is about. So he's going to drop the marker. Robin van der Merwe behind him. And of course, we've got Hunter in 8th. William coming through in 9th. And then, of course, Van Zyl, followed by Vermeulen, who had such a great drive the whole race. Then first in AM class, P. Dupree. He's chased down by Wilson. And then, of course, Duplessis. These boys, AM classes, closely finished it out of the track race. I reckon that was a great drive. Looking for the boys that are doing a bit of... Where are they? Where are they? Who's not in the pits? Everyone in the pits, people bumping each other. Oh man, gotta admit, to everyone out on the stream, those boys that actually watched to this evening, and again, big thanks to you. This is the race scenario at the end of it. Kieran Patterson taking it off and by storm. Next week we are at Alton Park. I don't know what to say. It's gonna get very interesting. 40 car at Alton GT3s. I I I don't know what we're gonna do, but don't be shy. See us next week, same time, same place. For those that are interested, tomorrow night we are streaming the console series. Those boys are gonna have 2 sprint races, so do come over, say hello, and then we'll catch you then. From my side, big thanks to you all. Love the support. See you next week. Have a good evening. Good night. God bless. Goodbye.